Top 2 bands Trent Reznor hated. Trent Reznor, an American musician, singer, producer and multi-instrumentalist most famous as the frontman and primary creative force behind the industrial rock band 9 Inch Nails. He's now one of the most celebrated soundtrack composers in Hollywood. He is renowned for his meticulous approach to creating powerful, complex soundscapes. His music, rooted in themes of pain, rage, and self-destruction, has defined industrial rock for over 25 years. 9 Inch Nails rose to prominence in the 90s with albums like The Downward Spiral, 1994, and The Fragile, 1999, bringing industrial music into the mainstream and inspiring a wave of imitators. Their first album, Pretty Hate Machine, 1989, earned them a reputation as one of rock's most dynamic live acts, leading to their Grammy-winning Broken EP in 1992 and the breakthrough success of The Downward Spiral, which included iconic tracks like Closer and Hurt. Trent Reznor is recognized for his raw emotional expression, intense music, and candid opinions. He has built a reputation as a chaotic, angst-driven artist and a fiercely aggressive live performer, often known for vocally criticizing the music industry. Over the years, he hasn't been shy about expressing his dislike for certain bands. Here are 2 bands he hated the most. The Beatles. The Beatles are widely considered one of the greatest and most influential bands in music history. However, not everyone is a fan. In fact, some musicians have gone on record saying they really hated the Beatles. Trent Reznor has endured a complex relationship with the Beatles for decades. When he was in his youth, the band represented everything he hated. In his younger years, he despised the Beatles, primarily due to his disdain for their fans. In a 1994 interview with Plasm magazine, Reznor expressed his anger, stating, "I hated people who were always going on about the Beatles. They're dead. They're ugly now. Get them out of my sight." However, Reznor's view on the Beatles evolved over time. By 2011, in an interview with Rolling Stone, he acknowledged the band's genius, attributing his earlier dislike to his distaste for their fanbase. After revisiting their music, especially from the White Album era, he gained a deeper appreciation for their innovative work, realizing that the Beatles were ahead of their time. Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses is one of the biggest rock bands in history, but that didn't mean much to Trent Reznor. In the 90s, he expressed frustration with bands like Guns N' Roses for representing an era of rock he found out of touch. In 1991, 9 Inch Nails opened for Guns N' Roses during the European Use Your Illusion tour. While Axl Rose was a fan of 9 Inch Nails, the experience was disastrous for Reznor. In 2012, interview Reznor recalled that, "It was only a couple of shows and they were some of the worst performances 9 Inch Nails ever had in front of the most hostile, moronic audiences I've ever experienced. They were there to rock, what they didn't want were some homo-looking dudes playing noisy synths and they made that very clear to us." Despite this negative experience, Reznor's work as 9 Inch Nails has influenced many newer artists, which according to Reznor range from generic imitations dating from the band's initial success to younger bands echoing his style in a truer, less imitative way. Following the release of The Downward Spiral, mainstream artists began to take notice of 9 Inch Nails' influence. David Bowie compared their impact to that of the Velvet Underground.